back outside, we can deal with our crossbows here. Welcome, guys. We return. Hopefully, my mic isn't all messed up and stuff. I was playing a horror game, Phasmophobia, last night, in which the game messes with your microphone and listens to what you say. And now I'm concerned it's messed with my recording setup. It shouldn't have. So anyway, we're out here because I wanted to buy the crossbow bolts for Ash so she can actually use the damn thing. This is a weird thing, okay, because generally speaking in 12... you acquire the basic ammunition before the weapon itself. So, like, Fran gave us the onion arrows. Balthea gave us the onion shot. So, neither of those we actually needed. And, by the way, these are onion. Is this, like, onion night kind of stuff? I don't know. And then bombs, you'll notice, were actually available for purchase for ages. Well, finally, we can get bolts, which also, I guess, have been available. But anyway, there you go. So, I want to show you guys a little technique with the spell Reflect, which is what a lot of people use right around now. Even in my playthrough here, I don't think this technique is going to be good enough to beat the first demon wall, but I will show you. So, think about how the Blizzard spell works and the Dark spell works. They're AoE, right? So, what happens is when Fran casts it, a little orb goes out from her staff to all the targets. So let's say these guys are baddies. One will move to Penello, one will move to Vosla, one will move to Van. And technically, she's done like triple damage. It's just spread over all the targets, right? Well, when we're against a boss fight, there's really only one target. So the AoE abilities are worse, as you'd expect. Here's the thing. There is the Reflect effect, which we can show with Ash now. You can use a party a little bit like this, in which Ash, as the time mage, she now has Reflect, we picked up from the chest. When she casts this on herself, all spells will bounce off her. That means it's a nightmare now to get, like, Shell and Protect on her, and she can't be cured through white magic. She can only be cured through items, so again, this can be an expensive strategy. Any actual magic will be reflected, but enemies that cast on you, obviously, they'll reflect the damage back to themselves, which is pretty good, right? Well, you can do this as well. You can reflect the whole team, and maybe you can see where this is going, to actually suddenly do a ton of damage from any casters that you have. You know, maybe you're playing on the original 2006 PS2 edition, and on that version, you know, maybe you've given absolutely everyone AoE magic, okay? And in fact, a lot of magic in the earlier versions was AoE. So then when we run to the demon wall, you could try to pull off something like this. We'll skip the cutscene.
Fight or run? We better decide fast.
We should still be on wait mode, I hope, here. In which you take a black mage, say Fran, you go over to her black magic, pick an AoE black magic, like Blizzard, and instead of casting on the demon wall, you cast it on your own team. And what's going to happen here, it's all going to reflect. You're going to do quadruple damage to one target. So watch this closely. People might die. It might become chaos in the middle. Here we go. She's casting. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you saw he petrified us. So he did a bonkers amount of damage there. But he is a bonkers defensive guy. And honestly, we're right at the part of the game just before all the black magic is going to tear up and stuff. So, in all honesty, we're still not going to be able to do this. But I wanted to show it to you guys. And what's also happening here, you'll see, is he's casting sleep and stuff. And it actually reflected, see? So we're okay. You'll also see that Ash was casting dark there, and I think healing the guy, which is funny. You'll also see he's put doom on us. And you'll see that he's put stone on us. So we're all getting petrified. We're all getting... This is a beautiful fight because... it's a big countdown. It's a countdown for doom. It's a countdown for petrify. It's a countdown before you get pushed into the door and you die. So how do we beat the guy? Well, and this is actually one of my favorite fights in the whole game. Well, I'll show you that now. And we're going to run with Ash, Balthea, and Fran. Ash floating away here. And the most important of these characters is Ash for this. Horology. Which, of course, we bought from right at the start of this sequence of the game out in the end of the Wester Sand. So this removes Petrify and Doom from everyone. I've got it at the highest priority on Ally Any. So she's actually going to react quicker than even I can. The second someone gets doomed because of the Demon Wall, she'll cleanse that. She's also going to spam Quake, which will do lots and lots and lots of damage. I've also got Fran, who's going to be spamming Aero. Most realistically, this is all she's really going to be doing. But I'm doing that because I think she'll do a lot of damage. A lot of other characters could take this slot, honestly. And then finally, I'm running Balthea. Now, you might wonder why Balthea. Well, Balthea can potion and all that kind of stuff. I could prep with Reflect, but I'm not going to worry about that. What I am going to do is make sure that Balthier has gambited ally any, what do we want to take off? I guess we'll take off Fire Weak just for a second. Ally any Echo Herbs. So, we could have done this on the individuals too, but I happen to have not bought the slots yet. Here, by doing this, anyone gets silenced, he'll get rid of that. The other thing he can do, and we don't need him decoying Van for now. The other thing we can have him do is to use Maiden's Kisses. Sorry, Princess Kiss. Why do I get that confused all the time? Is it the Maiden's Kiss in one menu and a Princess Kiss in the other? What's confusing me about that? We're going to do this. So, he will send us to sleep, and Balthier will get rid of that. He will silence us, Balthier will get rid of that. I have to watch, though, if Balthier is the target. Finally, the ace in the sleeve. Let's go to jobs. We have enough points to pick up Balthier's first quickening, the Fires of War. Penelo can't use hers right now, but Balthier has a first quickening. And finally, we can reinstate that on Ash after the whole geese fight from before. So there you have it. So we actually have 2 characters with quickenings now. And as long as they don't die or get removed or anything, we can do some good combos with them. That's the big thing behind the quickening system. Now, the first thing about this demon wall is you do need to flee from it and get to the end of the door without it having hurt anyone. So there you can see it's cast sleep. We want to wake it up, so I'm going to release flee just so that Balthier wakes her up straight away and we get over. Sometimes when you get right here to this moment... Oh my god, I've got a backup disk space error. Can you guys see that on screen? I'm not running out of space on my recording drive, am I? I don't think so. When that happens, sometimes as you get to this door, you'll be doomed, or you'll be stoned, or whatever. There's lots of things. You can also delete all your MP with a spell called Annul. So make sure everyone's feeling good, then go through the door. Oh, and realistically, go through this door as Vossler. Now, this is designed that you can beat it without using any quickenings. That's going to be like a last resort panic moment for me. So, let's see what we got. Now, there's loads of tricks with the lights as well. Loads of them. I'm going to gamble straight away at what I think one of the smartest things to do is...
The wall comes. We must be quick. Together we can bring it down.
Which is grab one of these lights right here at the start. This one right here. So we can read this inscription. These words have been left. Wakes it with the flames. Follows it with their shadow. Never straying. So I'm going to touch this. And it will go out. So what that means is he's stopped all the way over there. We can close the gap. And that means that, because the 2 furthest away lights here, they're actually kind of tricky to run over and get to and get in time. You can get to them in time. But by doing this, we have a little bit more leeway, and we've stopped him right where he starts. If you can speed him up there on the first light, then that's brutal, honestly. Now, I recommend not being greedy with these lights. If you're greedy, it can spell all kinds of disaster. So I'm going to run in on Vossler so that he targets Vossler first. Now... a little trick and a cheat, as far as I'm concerned, frankly. The wall will target, if you... Wait, how does this work? I think if you get the wall to target Vossler, and then just run him out of range, and it's like a physical attack, the wall, like, will never get the attack. So he's just going to keep walking towards you. And I think you can get him to not use any of his skills, really. It's kind of crazy. There's a very precise technique you can use for that as well with character swapping. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play it properly. Now, the way that I'm doing this is Vossler is going to be tanking the main hits. And his main attacks apply slow. Not in vanilla, but here they will apply slow. So you don't want your casters and your big damage guys being slowed. You want only Vossler. Okay, now the other thing is, I'm going to move Vossler back to, there he is all the way down here, regular attacks, okay, instead of blitzing, because again, we want him comboing and stuff. Now, I don't think there's any need to dispel him. We don't have Libra up, but we can kind of get the health anyway of bosses on the very top. So I think we're kind of prepped here. We've got nothing but damage rolling right now, except Balthier, who used steel. And if you notice now, we have 2 quickening bars, 2 mischarge bars over our character names on the bottom right. Okay, so let's swap over to Balthier, and let's start shooting. Now, the game... I'm going to gamble this, first of all. It's hard to interact with stuff in combat if you don't toggle gambits off, especially when your characters get a lot of swiftness licenses and stuff. I'm going to gamble and turn this off. Okay, good. We got it. So he's going to stop moving again now. So we bought ourselves loads of time. And we're just going to start doing damage. So here's Blindger. Oh, crap. Maybe we want Penelo or Barsh out to cure the Blindger. No, this is good. We stood far enough away that the blind never hit Balthier. Balthier's the only one that the blind would matter. I could manually do that. So, we're going to just start drilling into him as much as possible. I've actually got a really good start here. Now, can you see how he's moving? I need to start doing this. It's a bit like the Fire Main fight, remember? So, there's a Prince's Kiss going off. We need to keep everyone backed up so that they don't start hitting these really meaty physical attacks. And in this way, we can get through the boss. Now, there is one final mechanic. It's very, very weird and very cool. This boss uses a skill called Talega, which banishes you to another dimension. Do you remember what we saw the Yuta and Yensa use to disintegrate an ally before? I called that warp. Well, I don't actually know whether that animation was warp. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But we ourselves cast warp. Well, he can essentially apply that to us. So Voss is almost dead, so this is pretty scary. I think I will hit a light here. And will it go out? Okay, good. It did go out. Nice. We could even try and gamble for another one. I think I'll hold it for now, though. We do want to get this. So the blind is now bad. All right, let's see. Do we swap Barshin for some blind nut action? Will that lower our damage too much? I think I'm just going to eye drop the precise people who are struggling. Those high potions, by the way. He's like the ultimate healer at the moment. But we only have... Oh, no, we still got plenty. Okay, so let's eye drop Vossler first so that that next attack actually does some damage. Mind you, Balthea's on cooldown, so the timing might not work. Okay, Ash is out. Let me finish this talk about Talega. Talega will banish someone. It will apply something called XII. It's like stone or KO, but there is no curing it whatsoever. That player is gone for good. That's it. And in vanilla, the only place you ever get XII applied to you is right here against these two demon wolves in vanilla. So you've got to watch out for that. And the only thing you can do is swap. If he hits Vossler with it, then you've lost your guest forever. It's a big thing in this fight. Now, Ash has ran out of MP, and I don't think I have any ethers. Ethers are not available for sale on regular merchants, just so that you guys know. Again, there's like a lot of stuff with MP in this game that's actually kind of clever, and, you know, it's kind of like how Quickenings were originally MP-oriented. So, we have to choose, do we want to high ether her? And I actually think the answer is no. I think we can get her to start using her crossbow here, or we could just swap her for a new party member. I'm going to see what her crossbow damage is. And in fact, by the way... Oh, mind you, she's not on the Paramina crossbow. She's on the original one, isn't she? So she might not be that great. I think Ash could be good if we gave her the license for the... You remember we killed the Exile and we got a really badass thing? But we gave her a Quickening instead. Oh, I'm making the wrong strategic decisions here, guys. Many of them all at once here. So Ash probably lost all of her MP because the Demon Wall removed it all with... So what's she doing? 45 while Voss is hitting 400? Or was that Fran that hit for 400? I feel like I might have been Fran. Balthea high potioning this much is really not what I want. Especially not below 70%. We'll have him do it when they're low on health. This is kind of bad. That's lowered his damage a lot. So we've missed one of the lights there. By the way, this weird idea of a perfect game is having all the lights on or all the lights off or all of them blue. I don't even know if that's possible. Yeah, Ash is... She's not pulling her weight. We can't use Ash here. She's just not hitting hard. Let's bring Barshin, who's at a much higher level. And instead of the Warhammer, this guy's going to be immune to disable. Let's see what better we can do. We can sort our weapons soon. The Warhammer actually does have more damage, but I bet the Ancient Sword swings faster. If you could immobilize this guy, it would be amazing. But I'm pretty sure you can't. All right, so get in there, Barsh. Oh, Barsh is curing the blind. All right, yeah. That was a good idea, I think. We just got to get Balthea to attack him. How much space have we got left? A good bit. We should be all right. This is tight, guys. We're going to bring Ash back in later. Oh, no, I can't get rid of Ash because of horology. Oh, no, that's not good. Okay, so everyone... No one's swappable right now because we're all having stuff targeted. Okay, good. I can't swap her out. So I'm going to have to high ether. Because she need... Oh, wait, no, but it's a technique. All right, we won't high ether. We'll keep these guys with their quickening chains. Let's hit another thing just to cover ourselves. I think this is pretty safe because even if this goes blue... Alright, we're good. We got really lucky here, guys. I've had some real photo finishes. I fantasized producing this series with you guys for you to see the photo finishes I've had on this game with this fight. Because, honestly, I've had it like the last guy's alive on 50 health right next to that door. and we only just make it. And the reason is a lot of the time it's because I get blue flames. So Balthier's in range all the way back here, you'll see, so we can put everyone back. Chain magic. So he will use this, and a lot of bosses will use this when they get low. Do you remember how the Garuda had Enrage, and it made all of his attacks 0 charge time? Chain magic means that his spells will be 0 charge time. And so if we're going to see a Talega, it'll be now. I think we're low enough now that we can Quickening Chain and finish this off. So let's get Ash back to trigger that. Let's make sure Fran and Balthier stay back as well. We might not even need the chain. Oh, God, this is the door. Oh, God, we actually are quite close. All right, it's fine. We got the Quickening Chain. It's okay.
I must endure.
So during Ash's animation, I can hit triangle to trigger Balthier's. And that's because he has a full mist charge bar waiting. It'll roll straight into his and add his damage.
I never miss.
Now, in theory, that should be it, but sometimes you can get lucky and get a mist recharge, like I just did there, moving us back to Ash for a third hit. So here I don't have any opportunity, so I'm going to shuffle with R2 until I see some mist charges come back again, and now I can combo again. So the more Quickenings you unlock, the more characters you have with them that are on screen, the more you can combo through. The more you combo through, the more stuff happens. And so we got 4 Quickenings there. When you go over various tiers of Quickenings, you can trigger final effects called concurrences. This is a concurrence. And we got the Cataclysm concurrence here, which is earth damage. So that would heal the Demon Wall if he absorbed earth. But it's going to destroy him. We got 2k out of that. I love everything about this thing's design. Its creepy insecty legs, the back of it that looks kind of like a tombstone, the way that it cracks as it dies. Oh, and look, the tomb itself awaits. Man, you guys aren't going to get the full effect here because you've got my rambling ass talking over the top, but it's really creepy and cool and quiet in here. Oh, a little bit of trivia I missed from outside. The Namyensa Sansi, if you heard, had some nice pretty music in it that was different to the Ogre Yensa Sansi. Funny thing, in the original release, the Ogre Yensa and Namyensa had just the same track the whole time, which was really, really monotonous. For the remaster, that's one of the new songs they added. Totally new to just 2017. So yeah, look, some fires get left on, some are off, some might be blue. It's all based on the boss. It will never change. And also, notice those walkways nearby? So by the way, this was called the Hall of the Sentinel. This was the Hall of the Destroyer. And the Valley of the Dead was the specific map outside. So the Hall of the Destroyer has the really dangerous one. Then the Hall of the Sentinel. We just beat the Sentinel. Pretty good. Those walkways are not accessible, just like the ones before in the Hall of the Destroyer. And, well, we won't be looking at them for a while. Also, I like these lights. I wonder about them maybe turning blue or something. There's a weird thing in this dungeon where basically right as you're about to beat it, a ton of new enemies spawn. And I've always wondered if all those little fires around were supposed to turn blue at that time to signify that the dungeon's moved to like a new state or something. But they just kind of sit there. I mean, they have a quality of ambience all on their own, I know. It's just they're clearly possible that they could be animated blue. We saw it in the fight. So as much as the Waystones ruin things, see that platform at the very bottom? That's basically where we're trying to go. Look at, there's so many floors and stairs. We will still be TPing around, but yeah, there's a general idea. Down, down, down.
Incredible. It wounds me to look on as they pillage so solemn a place.
Yet without help, you and I are as nothing. Is this not so? He thinks ever and always on his own profit. Assure him of it and he shall remain true to our cause.
I do not share your majesty's trust.
We will continue this later. Now we should concern ourselves with finding the Dawn Shard. It sleeps in waiting, somewhere deep within.
How can you be certain?
I can hear its call.
Ooh, the magical connection. Could she always hear the Dusk Shard's call then? I mean, it didn't sort of seem like she could, but hey, maybe that's me being a little bit picky. Welcome to the Royal Passage, where there is a rare game, a Facer defends the Seekers. We'll learn more about that later. But it's actually a really crucial detail for beating the dungeon. Really, really. All right, so this big hall is basically a giant central hub location in which we have 2 tasks to do. You know what? For most of my life, I've never really enjoyed, like, dungeon exploring or, like, I don't know, puzzling in tombs and stuff. Not too much. I mean, I have, but not too much. But I get really excited about the Tomb of Raithwall when I'm playing this game. I have no idea why. But so we get a map straight away, and it does reveal the whole dungeon, which looks a lot scarier and complicated than it actually plays out. So this is a weird one for the maps. Basically, we've got an area down here called the Southfall Passage with another rare game. And up here, we've got a passage called the Northfall Passage. Then there are these completely disconnected areas. Well, what's that all about? Well, it's the Waystones. So, you'll remember from the first room that we found a Waystone that didn't have any power? And, well, we've got another one here with no power. Must be a corresponding device elsewhere, they say. And another one with no power. And you'll see that they're kind of tinted. This one's slightly tinted red. This one's slightly tinted green. And this one is blue. But this one's active. Now, if we touch it, you'll see that this glyph appears. How is that not like the Cloister of Trials, right, guys? Honestly, that's like a very specific thing. I need to read about it one of these evenings, and I'll have an episode where we talk and we go into it a bit more. But, yes, this takes us back to the start. So, it essentially allows us to skip the Destroyer Hall, the scary demon wall, the one we're kind of looking at the back of right now, and just warp forwards a bit. So, yeah, it looks like, at first glance, there's going to be 5 new places to go. Down, left, down, right, and then all of these. But this is just taking us back, okay? And that's pretty much ignorable as well now, because they go the same way. So, what do we want to do? Well, let's go to the Northfall Passage first. There's a lot happening in this hall, though, which you guys really want to pay attention to. First of all, as we start, it's filled with bats, these Seekers. Seekers are really easy to kill, as you can see. I'll probably swap in... This is a good opportunity for us to get some experience. These are actually the worthwhile players. Fine, we'll keep it these guys. A good opportunity to get experience for players that might not otherwise have a good amount. Who did we put the golden amulet on? Did we put it on anyone? Balthier, but wait, hold on. The golden amulet was double LP. What about the embroidered tippet? No one's wearing that. So who's our lowest level guy? It's Ash. She's only in the Oricea. Let's level you up, Ash. I do really love how unbelievably challenging that demon wolf fight would be if we weren't using Ash there. I mean, obviously Square never set that up. You could have had anyone with the capacity to cleanse Doom in the team, like maybe eventually Remedies can do it, but that was cool for us. You know, as she is in a weird way. Remember I mentioned House Dalmasca is kind of descended from House Galtea, and he was the head of House Galtea. So enough years, she's kind of descended from this guy, King Raithwall, the Dynast King. She's descended from him. So, you know, her being able to unlock the treasures and defeat the Guardian, it works, guys. So, here's what you want to pay attention to. There's a door here, right? In fact, there's 2. You could have gone up or down. Well, if you keep walking... Oh, there's no chest there. I guess I've gone to the wrong one. If you keep walking, make sure you keep an eye out, because at the very ends of these, there are 2 new spells for us to acquire. 2! Seriously. One towards the Northfall Passage, one towards the Southfall Passage. One of them in the vanilla game was totally useless. Like, I'm not joking. Completely useless. And it's for a reason I've kind of already explained. The other thing you want to watch out for here is Libra. There are traps all over the place, particularly defending the chests. I might have done this one a little bit early, but as we walk over, I'm sure you'll see it. There you go. See that red ring? And maybe that's a tip-off for you to come over. But look, see how the chest doesn't quite render in? It's not there here. So you might just go in the door. I often miss these, honestly. And remember, this is only the Zodiac Job System Edition Beyond. Some Seekers assault us. And you'll notice here that there's only Seekers around right now. I just mentioned that a second ago. I might have. So there you go. We get Dispel. Dispel is a recurring white magic from the franchise in general. It will allow us to remove haste, and it will allow us to remove protect and shell and regen and pretty much any positive status that we like from the target. It could even be an ally if we really wanted to. We did have access to Dispel a little bit earlier than this with the Dispel motes. And similar to like the whole Libra mote thing, I kind of think the game would be a lot more interesting if Dispel, optional chest here, look at that down there. We're going to go down there, guys, and we get a warp mote. That's pretty good. Also, Diamond Armlet, please. Oh, but now he won't get his double LP. I like this, though. It kind of works. You know, you got to decide. Do you want more XP? Do you want more LP? Do you want better loot? I kind of think the game would be a little bit more interesting if you didn't get Dispel for ages, and instead, if you wanted to remove haste from something, you had to cast slow on it because it's the reverse. And that works, that mechanic's there, but then you get Dispel really early, so you just never really pay attention to it. Or like if they have regen, maybe there's a lot of regen in the Tomb of Raithwall. So you really want to use poison, you know? Poison in general falls off as an ability. You notice Vanish using it in big AoE areas, but not too much. So, hey, wouldn't it be nice to get a little bit of poison use again? Because it just helps so much getting rid of regen. But then Dispel comes, and so you don't need to use poison. Or what about Protect and Shell? Well, those don't really have opposites, so those, you know, you'd want Dispel for. But then Dispel motes. Maybe you get a limited supply of motes. Maybe you're getting Dispel motes from the Giza Plains crystal runs, and that's how you get through that for a while. And then it's sort of in the mid-late game you get Dispel, not in Act 1. But there you have it. We've got it now, and we will be making good use of it. The one thing here, I think, in my playthrough, it's going to be quite expensive, at least. And it's not the whole story. There is going to be other stuff going on, but, you know, and a lot of stuff isn't strippable. Like Chain Magic we were looking at there a moment ago with the Demon Wall. I just wish that stuff was a bit more evident. Another weird thing has happened with the 12 with the combat system that I kind of don't like. And it's that a lot of the special abilities, like you remember the Rogue Tomato casting fire and stuff? Enemies actually don't really have very high charge times on most of what they do. So you don't really get to read on the top left, hey, the enemy is about to do this thing and prepare. You're reacting more, and it's more about like preemptive stuff and prep than anything else. So there you go. So traveling through the Northfall Passage, pretty comfortable there. We were killing some Cluckatrices there called the Lesser Chimeras, I think, which is quite nice. And here you'll find a Waystone. Well, we can activate it. It remains asleep. There's this weird thing. Look, a face. Ooh, wouldn't that be scary if that came alive and attacked us, guys? Don't worry, that won't be happening. Oh, and another enemy. So faces. This is called a Rago. This is what's known as a facer. New type of enemy here. They tend to cast black magic. Balthier's fine. Is he still wearing... Oh, no. Oh, yeah. He casts thunder. And I think the diamond armlet gives you thunder resistance. At least in vanilla it did. It was really good at removing thunder. That'll become very relevant soon. Anyway, yeah. So they're new and they're around. And you can chain them if you like. Got their weird animations. But what is really important is this special glowing stone. And I don't know, man. It just looks really good, doesn't it? Something about the exact shade of red that is excites the hell out of me. And look, the face descends into the floor. But not quite far enough that we can go into whatever that doorway is behind. We get attacked by some zombies here. So zombies, I think, start spawning now. It's going to be zombies here. There'll be something else later. The zombie's fine to deal with. And now you'll see the Waystone is glowing red. So we got a choice. We can walk out via that route. Remember, we came from here. We can walk out now, and if we go that way, do you remember when we had 2 doors out here in the main hall? Well, that would take us through the other one, so we've seen like half. So you don't have to explore all of this, and it's basically just the same thing. You worm around with the balconies and so on. Or you could just hit the Waystone and move out. And don't worry, we've seen all the enemy variety. Oh, look, there was a zombie here. Bye! I love how there's 4 people around the Waystone as well for your 4-man party size, even with a guest. How cool is that? Because you don't always have a guest, and yet it still works. So, yeah, we've seen everything there, basically. There might have been a chest or 2 with random loot that we'll be able to buy from merchants later. And then it's kind of the same principle, just over here now. And honestly, I think it should be that zombies are spawning all over here too at this point, but they don't. I mean, that would mean that the more progress you make in the tomb, the more dangerous things get. Balthier is missing a lot. So there, these guys use leech. You saw he did 128 damage to Ash and healed himself for 128. Which you do want to watch out for. And yeah, the little bit of first aid. Oh, did you hear that little blip noise? What that blip means is that Ash just got her quickening back. You can see the bar is fully charged again now. So that's good. And that's because we've been playing her and we've continued playing Balthier. However, Penelo... she still doesn't have hers. You'll see she's got a dot over next to her name below her class, next to her MP, and it's not filled in. So we do actually need to play the characters in order to build their quickenings up. In vanilla, there was kind of a cheesy thing going on where... I'm assuming it's the low path we want here. There was kind of a cheesy thing going on where you would just do a big-ass quickening chain swap all the characters out for a whole new set, and then do another big-ass quickening chain. And you could just do that over and over and over again. Well, now, that's still possible, but you do actually have to, between fights, charge them up again. And quite a lot in FF12. Guess what? I'm going to actually make Valthyr attack here, because I think we're struggling. They're leeching, and they're in the sky, and look at that guy flying up. Look at how cool that is. Let's target him. Can we look up at him? Oh, no, he's too far away. Sometimes you get back-to-back bosses, in which case you have to wonder, all right, who do I want to put... Who do I want to dedicate the Quickenings to? They are strong. You know, you could make the combat balance a lot better with making Quickenings like super weak. They are kind of like a get out of jail free card a lot of time. But to me, that's kind of a Final Fantasy experience, you know. It's kind of always been the case that overdrives and limit breaks and stuff like that get you away. So here we've got Vanish. Oh, Vanish. Let's talk about Vanish. What a spell. Do we actually know it? Oh, I don't think we have it yet. Where is Vanish? Oh, Vanish is... Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I've changed this. I actually myself changed this. Okay, so I think Vanish used to be an arcane magic in the original release. Then it became a time magic for no reason whatsoever, and the arcane tree had almost nothing to play with. So for this playthrough, I have returned it as an arcane magic. So check it out. Our second arcane spell, as it was in 2006... We now have Dark and Vanish, and the reason I'm getting confused there is that Ash happens to be using both of those magic trees here. So, Vanish is a really weird one. Obviously, they're playing with a new combat system where there's not random encounters. And the idea of, like, stealthing and sneaking and whatever wasn't much of a thing in the other games, unless it was, like, you know, an enemy is patrolling. Damn, I didn't want to hit that. An enemy is... Oh, we got Hastesia mode. That's really good. An enemy's patrolling, and if you walk into it, it will trigger the random encounter or whatever, some such situation. Well, here's the thing. In this game, they could do stuff, you know? They could have spells that make you invisible. And remember how I told you that float actually makes them not be able to hear your footsteps anymore? They'll still hear absolutely everything else, so it doesn't really mean much. But we are actually avoiding a mechanic there by floating. Vanish means they can't see you. Ah, now that's pretty cool, isn't it? By the way, another really nice detail about float is we actually don't have a oh my god. Yeah, there's a lot of dangerous fire magic in here. Valthyr, are you gonna throw these, or should I manually? I guess I... we should probably get Penelo out, actually, and save us. No, I think I'd rather save her MP, to be brutally honest. We'll get Buster up. So, yeah, we don't have any footstep sound effects. As we move on Valthyr, we hear footsteps. As we move on Ash, we won't. Right, everyone's oiled as well, and the only way to get rid of that is handkerchiefs, but we have 42 of them. Now, why do we have 42 of them? Oh, remember from stealing from the tomatoes a couple of parts ago, I did mention. When I chained a ton of them for the succulent fruits, we were also getting handkerchiefs. So the devs set you up at the very beginning of this whole sequence. They got what you need. Alright, and then finally this guy here. You don't want the oil sticking about all the time. Oh, I did it extra, did I? My bad. As for healing... Alright, fine, we'll high potion. Ooh. Is he up to a 3k heal on that now? 3k? These are basically X potions for us now. Okay, so let's swap... let's just run around as Fran, I guess. Why not? Actually, let's play Ash, since we're going to be talking about Vanish. So, here's the thing. In Vanilla, they put in Vanish. The idea is that enemies can't see you. But what have we learned, guys? We have learned that they can hear you. We have learned that if you cast magics, then they sometimes they'll come running at you. We have learned that if you go near them, they'll attack you. We have learned that some of them, and I only mentioned this very briefly, but some enemies have this thing called life detect. And now what the idea of life detect is that they will always see you. If you are alive, they will come at you. Pretty cool idea for a mechanic, right? Sounds pretty sinister. And in fact, Square put all the ghost enemies in the game with really high life detect. Speaking of ghosts, we're going to trigger one right here with this green gem. So ghosts should just be able to find you all the time because, you know, they're undead. They've got this special ability or whatever. I don't know. I mean, zombies don't have it and skeletons don't have it, but ghosts do. So that's good. But what did Square do? Speaking of ghosts, they should attack us right here. There you go. These are liches. What did Square do? They made it so that basically every enemy in the game has life detect. As far as I can tell, late in the day, they got cold feet and they just spammed life detect everywhere. I have no idea why, but what does that mean? That means that Vanish is useless. It's useless because people can hear you unless you're also floating while you're vanished. It's useless because you still can't use any skills at any point, and gambits mean that people use skills all the time. It's useless because you can't go near stuff. It's useless because even if all that stuff was fixed, they all have life detect. I think the only exception is like Imperials, like those ones in Naupana before. That's all fixed. Thanks to yours truly. I went through every single enemy in the game before this playthrough. I'm not joking. The files for every single enemy. And unless it was a ghost or something that Square had specifically set up, I removed their life detect. So Vanish works. Of course, so now we have another way of being more sneaky and useful while we are fleeing. You can have Ash cast Vanish. We can also sneak out into really dangerous areas of the world now. Really dangerous. Like ahead of time. Unless there's a ghost. Ghosts will find us even while we're invisible. They'll teleport over and they'll kill us, which is very cool. And that, again, that comes from Square themselves. The one thing is, it's very strong. So, it is an arcane magic, and it costs basically all of Ash's MP. We're going to need to ether. We're going to need to cast it. It will run out. It has a duration. So, if you're going to vanish, you want to be sure that you know where you're vanishing. But it will hit everyone, and we'll move on. So, yeah, pretty cool idea, right? Now, I have all three of these lit up. We can return to the save crystal, which is exactly what I'm going to do. If you're anything like me, you might be a bit of an idiot. And you'll just immediately hit the waystone again and come back here and you'll be like, where do we go? Well, the thing is, when we hit each of these gems, remember we were lowering that wall? And that means there's a secret way forwards through that wall we were lowering. There is, though, however, a reason to return here anyway. And it's for a rare game, which is kind of under a special spawn condition. What we need to do is kill Seekers. What does the note say? A Facer, that's that new type of enemy, defends the Seekers. So what say we go on a rampage of Seekers? What we're trying to do here is build a chain of Seekers up to 12. Now this is very, very, very hidden. I have no idea how Square was expecting people to find this without a guide, but hey. So yeah, I'm just going to run around taking them out. It shouldn't be too hard. We've got a lot of mages that are able to cast even while they're hanging over the edges. Which is a really nice experience, by the way. I think 12 could do that more, you know. Attacking things that are flying completely out of your reach. Also, I regret that I never talked to you guys enough. Oh, here we go. And so now that we're here as well, new enemies are spawning. And these will break our chain. And you saw that Fran just did over 1,000 damage to that friggin' thing because it's a fire flan and she's using water. It's chasing us. So, yeah, one of the things I kind of wanted to show was in those side rooms, you can look over the balcony and see all the enemies and then walk over, and it just feels really good. Oh, I don't know. All right, so yeah, I'll see you all in a second when we've got all of our Seekers. Okay, so with 13 of them killed, you now have a chance for the thing to happen. I don't know whether it's going to occur here. Let's have a quick look. See, yeah, there you go. All right, when you've killed 13 Seekers, back up at the entrance, and this is kind of hard to spot, because why would you come back up? Why would you be chaining Seekers anyway? Here he is. There's an optional boss. This guy is called the Barmu. He's a very dangerous Facer, and we're going to poach it. So, let's... Who's likely to do the least damage here? Ash, probably. So let's bring Varn out, and let's swap Balthir. Actually, I think Balthir should be fine, I think. So, yeah, let's leave remote up. We can go for a quick little steal as well. Always worth stealing and poaching. We're almost out of these. Actually, I'll hold on to that, because I kind of want to use both of those. So, let's run on in. Balthir's going for the steal. This guy's using Aurora, which you'll see is actually the T2 air spell, and it chunks Varn for a good amount. He might actually die if we're not careful. This guy's pretty tanky, but we are also like right towards the end of this section. So I've left this. We could have done this right when we entered, but I've left this for here, so we should have got a couple more levels and stuff. Oh yeah, also he has Petrify Strike. You want to be careful of that. As you can see there. In fact, Varn just died. So... Varn dying actually cleanses him of the Petrify, which is something, I suppose. The best person to throw a Phoenix down right now, even though it's going to be less health, is probably Fran. That way Balthir's attack doesn't get interrupted. And then, yeah, straight away with a high potion afterwards, and we're back into it. We're back in action. And then Varn can deal with Vossler there. Oh, also, is his poach actually on? Ooh, we almost didn't poach him. That would have been annoying. We would have had to have chained 13 Seekers again. Ha. Yeah. Oh, wow, we just killed another Seeker off the side. Did you guys see that? I just saw 14 chain. There you go. Winning a Beetlejuice. Right, so this is a really good thing. In vanilla, you've got a 5% chance for it to drop. It's a new gun. It's a gun for Balthier, which I'm very happy with. As it's a gun, it's named after a star again. This one's actually the brightest star in the night sky, I think. Aren't people scared of it going supernova or something? So if we have a look at Balthier here, we can go to his jobs, and you'll see we've been using these guns, and look, this is the next one. We've actually skipped a gun here. Sirius is what's about to become available at merchants in like 2 seconds. But this is after the Sirius. That's the kind of stuff you can get from poaching. So this is really powerful. Then on top of that, can Ash get her katana, if you remember? Yeah, she can actually. Here you go. This is it. It was the Magoroku. Oh, no, she's 10 points away still. Well, that's fine. That's also, you know, some really good gear for us as well here. Right, now, what do we do? Well, we can pick green or red. I would have picked red, but, you know, green was what we were next to. Red is my favorite color, guys, just so everybody knows. Yeah, out of the RGB, I'd always go that way. Now, you want to come over here. Now, this platform is what was lowered, so keep an eye out on the floor. That way you'll know. Otherwise, you've got 2 directions you can go in, not necessarily leading to a good time. Now, if you have a look here, when we walk out into this corridor, and this is already kind of a complicated map with lots of ups and downs and balconies and things, we're actually completely off the grid now. You see that? Off the grid. Oh, and finally, you see we just got attacked by a lost soul. Is someone caught upstairs fighting it? These ghosts that attacked us here. There's another rare game. When the ghosts get low on health, they split, they divide, and new ghosts spawn, just like we saw in the waterway before. You've got a very low chance in this room when they split. Instead of it being a lich, it becomes a cult sworn lich. And the cult sworn lich is just a really, really, really strong ghost. It's a lot like the Barmu. There's another poach available from that guy you could go for. I was hoping we'd get lucky here on the footage, but yeah. You know, maybe we'll do a bestiary episode later where I'm running through all this stuff. There is a quest that can take you back to all these places anyway. Maybe we do it at that point.
Fog? Underground?
Not fog. Mist.
You can see the mist with your eyes?
Where it is thick enough, you may. The nether runs deep in this place.
So, is the mist dangerous?
Yes, but it is also an aid. A dense mist allows the working of powerful magics.
I'll keep that in mind. Can't count on Vaughn to keep track of these things. That's for sure.
Excuse me, I just taught you about Skystone and Yokt, alright? Just a moment ago. Do you want to chill out a little bit, Pinello? She sounded so sincere there. I also like how Fran did not respond. Like, ooh, I don't know whether I want to get in on that. Fran is, like, so neutral to everything at the moment. It's really interesting. I guess she's sort of this almost impartial in the way that she's been dealing with things. So, a little bit more information about the mist there, which we're actually under the effects of right now. It's kind of like another weather effect. And what this one does is it means your MP recharges real quick. That's, I guess, what they're trying to teach in the cutscene. So, we got this big ring here. Just kind of letting you guys enjoy it. Now, if you look up, can you see these stairs? Well, yeah, that's where we were before. If you look really closely, you'll see the stairs are, like, broken and disconnected and, like, not quite rendering properly. Shh, it's fine. Square, I didn't see that. It's all right. But look, we're lower down now, and in fact, this is the very bottom just here. There are 2 loot chests for you to look for, and they're really oddly positioned. Look at this. What? Half embedded in the wall? First of all, oh, really? We didn't get lucky? A phoenix down? Why am I doing this? This is going to annoy the hell out of people. Use the diamond armlet, for God's sake. But the thing is, I like swapping around. I like you guys seeing all kinds of different stuff. This gun looks cool, by the way. And again, I implore you guys, keep your eyes on the different weapons and things as we're going along. I'm not going to have little moments to showcase it all every single time. But over here in this corner is a really cool sword. It's not the only cool sword here, but it is the main one that most people end up getting. This is 100% chest. Loot never changes. It's called the Blood Sword. And in fact, if we go have a look at Bash, our sword user, you'll see that it actually has its own license. See this? So Swords 3 is what we're using. This is Willblade, the ancient sword. The Lonegrin is what we managed to poach before. And now there's the Blood Sword. All on its own. So the Blood Sword I believe appears in a few Final Fantasies. The idea is it like saps life, like these skeeters. What the hell is skeeters? That's Borderlands. What? Seekers, thank you. The Seekers that we've been fighting with Leech. That's what they usually, it's usually like that. Now, in this game, they can't really do that perfectly. But I think in this setup, it will give us auto regen, and it will apply sap to the enemy. So sap is another degenerative condition. So we can now apply poison and sap and really degen things a lot down. So, yeah, that's the closest we've got. I think later on the modding scene, they might have found a way to work through that as well, which is kind of cool. Let's give Barsh the Orike armlet now as well. So there you go, the Blood Sword. Make sure you pick it up. It's a missable treasure here. This dungeon is famous for another very missable sword treasure, but we'll start off with the Blood Sword there. Now, finally, at the bottom. What the hell is that? I thought we were looking for the Dusk Shard. Hello? So, no opening pleasantries. The guy's just going for us straight away. Well, what if I just want to talk to you? So, let's see what we've got here. First of all, Balthier stole an arcana from this thing. This is a special category of creature that, yes, you want to steal from whenever you find them, because you get these arcana items, or even better, later, an item called a high arcana, which is used in the crafting of some of the best stuff in the game. So make sure you keep a hold of that. So, let's check this guy out. Let's go over to active real quick. This is just going to be my first little run here. Let's throw a leave remote so that we can check out what his health is. Now, this fight at the start is going to be pretty chill and pretty relaxed. Oh, God. I mean, Van's freaking dead already. The guy's beating the crap out of us. It's going to be pretty chill, pretty relaxed. There's a good amount of health for us to get through. 60k, you might have just seen. Van died, so we lost Libra there. But 60k, that's a lot more than the Demon Wall had. But opening up, it's not too shabby. You'll see he's casting fire here. The fire didn't hit too hard for Fran, so that's fine. I mean, it is only T1 black magic. You'll also notice in the middle of the fight here, and God, Balthier's spamming these high potions. I probably don't want Balthier on heal duty at the moment. I'm not sure, actually. But, yeah, there's two chests on the side. One of them gives you an elixir. Very nice. I think is that only our second elixir? The other one being the forbidden chest from ages ago. That one's not forbidden, don't worry. And actually, this one has a skill in it. Shades of Black, believe it or not. So, we now can do what Larsa was doing. Shades of Black is going to be extremely potent in the next little section. Look at that combo there. The Van, Phoenix down, Balthier, high potion combo. Basically fully restored Fran there. I mean, Balthier can get Phoenix down laws, which also will do a similar thing. You'll see our main hitter is Fran because he's weak to water, which he can spam. You'll also see he's applying oil. And for the first 50%, we don't have to worry too much. However, after the first 50%, he's going to start using this skill, Greater Barrier. And what that will do is apply, protect, I think, and the more times he uses, the more he'll get. He should get shell and regen, lots of stuff from Greater Barrier. There you go, there's the shell coming up. He's basically going to tank himself the hell up here. And he's harder to get through unless we use our new white magic, Dispel. And here we go. So he also has this ability. It's called Fire Raja. So in Final Fantasy, you can tier up the black magics. There's Fire, and then Fire 2 is stronger than Fire 1. In the PS2 era, they got proper names. Fire, Fira, Fire Raja. And then there was the idea of a fourth tier getting introduced right around 10. If you saw my videos, you'll remember that. It was Fire Raja or Thundarja you saw, like Dark XII was using and stuff. Well, as far as I know, 12 was the first one to start using the Juz a lot. Like that higher tier of black magic starts appearing all over the place. And the subsequent games as well have been using it ever since. So, wow, we've wiped now, which I was kind of expecting to. So, yes, you will see that he is using basically a concurrence. Do you remember that concurrence we saw that did earth damage earlier? Well, he's basically gets to use that against us, but it's called Fire Raja. And it's such powerful fire magic, we will never actually be able to cast that. It's that good, unless, you know, it's like a concurrence we're using. So below 50%, he's going to use Fire Archer and Pain Flare. Fire Archer does damage and puts oil on. Pain Flare finishes you off if you haven't cleaned the oil. So here's the plan. What we're going to run is a team of Penelo, Fran, and Balthier. Now, Penelo does have, if you remember, the water spell. So instead of curing, I guess because we'll go with potion heals for now, we're going to run water to anyone water weak, or just anyone lowest HP, I guess is fine for now. And, well, she's actually going to be able to do good damage. Remember, she actually will hit hard. Then Fran's using water. She's already hitting over 1,000 a pop. That's really nice. The other thing with Penelo is we're going to go enemy. We won't worry about Echo Herbs since this guy doesn't actually worry about that. Foe, any, and then Dispel. But hold on, we never actually bought the license for her. That's in the next White Mage slot, which we got from going through the dungeon. There you go. So Dispel. And crucially there as well, you can see she's got the spell Stoner here, which will be very good going forward as well. We haven't actually picked that up anywhere, but that's nice to get early. So yeah, we will run enemy. No, we're not going to throw Echo Herbs. We're going to use Dispel. So when he starts using Greater Barrier, she keeps it off. But if he doesn't have anything, she's going to be using water. She'll heal, she'll res. Then here's the really special trick, and it's the Balthier situation. Balthier, equip. Oh, wait, hold on. We need to go to... Did we buy the license already? I think we did, didn't we? Yeah, we did. You can use the Beetlejuice. Now, this is... You don't need to do this for this fight, but I just want to show you how crazy this is. And do you remember we also stole that ooze? So we got from the Bazaar Aqua Shot. So Aqua Shot hits harder than Silent Shot. We won't be able to silence him for the fire, but it wasn't too bad anyway. And now he's going to be doing the weakness on an insanely powerful gun. Remember I mentioned early on how gear is way more important than levels? You're going to see just how true that is here. You want to talk about an Achilles heel? Watch how devastating Balthier is. Beyond this gear setup, this fight's going to be easy now. Beyond this gear setup, the other thing we need to do is keep oil off. Below 50% health, he's going to use a special he's not going to use fire anymore, or Fearer. He's going to use a special technique called Pain Flare, and that's what was absolutely annihilating all of us. We need to avoid that by using handkerchiefs at all costs, and we'll probably use a quickening chain as well while we can. So you guys ready for this? Make sure you do get the initial steal. So there we go. Double water. We get the Arcana. And you can already see we get some good damage in there. Vossler can do his thing as well. Vossler, by the way, has had a technique this whole time I've not even shown you called Expose, which reduces their defense, and it keeps stacking and stacking and stacking. You could run that on this boss or the Demon Wall as well. I like to use magics more, though, and especially here, I think that's the better way to go. We don't have any water element physical strike. Well, mind you, that would just be elemental again, wouldn't it? But look at that! Look, he hit 2k! 2k with one auto attack. And if he crits, you're going to hit even more than that. So here's the thing. Just like with the Fire Main, stay the hell away from the boss. Penelo, yeah, she's using the pole, so... Oh, we never showed off the healing rod. That's fine. We've got another really cool section where we can use that later. Keep the aggro on Vossler if you want. Balthier also has green magic, so I'm going to actually decoy Vossler so that Belias stays on him. We don't have bubble or anything, so his max health's kind of low, and it will stay kind of low. But yeah, keeping away is important. Penelo's probably dead here unless we give ourselves a potion. Because, that sucks. It's alright, we can Phoenix down, and make sure you use it with Balthier here. There we go. And pull that back and get her back away. She can cure her, you'll see. So this is going to be really good because it will hit her. Did I move her out of range? I did. Whoops, I moved her out of range of Vossler. That kind of sucks. So there you go. Look, Protect just came up from Greater Barrier. We can now dispel that. And he might even just get caught in a chain now where he's using that instead of Faraja. Fran's out of position. Let's pull her back. And look, if you notice, you don't get much space. And if you notice as well, this wall here with the faces has come up behind us. There's nothing in the animation that shows you that. Yeah, so look at this. The dispel chain. So you can actually just stop him using this altogether. But keeping the handkerchiefs and the fire off is really crucial. But yeah, they give you a spell, and the spell is really good in the upcoming boss fight. That happens so often. There's nothing that they do with Vanish on this one. I'm not sure what you could have expected there. But yes, in fact, the 2 bosses coming up are really, really easy to cheese with Dispel, at least in the 2006 release. It's not possible in the later ones. But yeah, look at that gun, guys. Just keep him away from using his big fire abilities. I think speedrunners move to a very specific area of the arena there as well to cheese this guy. And they're here super low level. I'm not sure how that works, though. We obtain an esper.
In vain glory they arose, shouting challenges at the gods, but prevail they did not. Their doom it was to walk the mist until time's end. A legend of the Nemo.
My family tells a story of the Dynast King and an esper. The story goes that in his youth, the Dynast King defeated a mighty Gigas, for which the gods took heed of him. Thereafter, it was ever bound to him in thraldom.
So, all this time it's been here guarding the Dynast King's treasure?
Not so. The esper is the Dynast King's treasure.
That's your treasure?
In this esper we now command rests a power whose worth is beyond any measure.
Is that so? Call me old-fashioned, but I was hoping for a treasure whose worth we could measure.
So, I kind of hate that line, that that's his treasure. I guess she means there's no gold or trinkets in here. That's really what's going on. We are here for the Dawn Shard. Sorry, did I mess up and say Dusk Shard earlier? We are here for the Dawn Shard, alright? And the Dawn Shard is here. So that always kind of confused me weirdly. But yes, we now have an esper. Let's check out the clan primer real quick, the bestiary. And let's read about a whole new section, Belias. This is these game's summons. A scion of darkness and a guardian of the holy realm made by the gods in opposition to the transcendent Logriff, scion of light. So in this story, you have these gods, okay? And there are these 12 scions of light. Think of them like angels, I suppose. And then there are counterparts to them, the scions of darkness. This is one of them. Belias, called the Gigas for his appearance, man and monster fused as one. He's got this badass friggin' massive weapon here. Considered a mistake upon his making, and receiving not his intended role, the Gigas challenged the gods and lost. Scorned by his masters, he found another, the Dynast King, whose tomb he swore to protect for eternity. Here we're gonna learn a story about these creatures, these scions of darkness, that ended up not liking the gods and tried to fight them. But they lost and they were cast down. And here they are in this realm. And this guy found the Dynast King. How did the Dynast King bring peace? Well, it seems at least in due part to the fact he had a friggin' esper. And he's been here waiting ever since. For how many years? 1,000 years? More or less. I mean, 700 years of Dalmascan rule, however many hundred of Galtean. A long time. He's been here. And now we have an esper of our own. He's not the only one. There's a whole story about the Scions of Darkness. And yeah, the Numo. Do you remember McEnroe up in the clan place? The little weird creature guy? Yeah, they talk... When Fran said it's a legend of the Numo, she's talking about those people. They have this legend that they've passed on. That's not all, though. Welcome. By the way, that was the Cloister of Flame. We are now in the Chamber of First Light. A waystone ahead. And guess what? This connects to the final one, which will take us back. Read the inscription. By this, return ye to the Hall of the Destroyer. By other means, return ye back to this place. So listen, right now, the first act of the game is about to end if you walk up those stairs. Lots of story. Loads. And if you want to go do a ton of hunts and stuff, I recommend you pick this exact moment. Hit the waystone. Go out, explore, buy, you know, supplies and whatever from Dice, and be ready.
What's wrong?
Your Majesty, we must go.
What?
You know, I complimented their facial animations, and now I'm looking at their vibrating eyes. Why did Vaughn step forward, eh?
You will be avenged.
No one else is looking at it? So she sees this vision. Is that the Dawn Shard that did that? Well, we haven't heard that the Dawn Shard does anything like that. But seeing it reminds her of what she's fighting for and seems to set her heart on the path of vengeance. You will be avenged. You obtain the Dawn Shard. What happened there? I kind of hate that we don't get to see her actually lift up and grab it. I mean, Fran would be the best one to get it, right? Ash would have a hell of a job getting up there. I love this place. Look, it's so huge. There's so much going on in here, but you just come to grab the stone. So, a key item. By the way, now that we have an Esper, there's a bunch of new stuff with licenses. First of all, in the most recent re-releases, this is where you can get a double job. So if you'd picked Bushi, if you can make your way to this license, you can swap to a new job as well. I still have that mechanic at play, but we won't get it until way later, so it's balanced. For my playthrough, you'll see it's on this island I can't reach. And then also, if we have a look at Barsh, the license for the Esper Belias has been added to the board. The thing is, when you collect the license, it will disappear for all the other characters. So only one person can get it, and you have to choose who. And that can lock off new areas of the board, and there's all kinds of strategic decisions you can make. For us, it's just here on Bush for now. Things will get more complicated later. So, and these will all be mechanics we'll get through in Act 2. Let's hit the Waystone. We could manually walk out if we like, but I mean, why? Sweet victory. We can prove that Ash is the queen. You know, take it to Mount Ber-Omasace if we have to. Whatever that's all about. And then, you know, restore rule to Damaska. I mean, we'll still be under the heel of the Arcadians next to us. And the Rosarians next to us. And Nabradia's still gone. So we might want to take the fight back to them. It sounds like Ash does. But, you know, it's a start. What? We're in Yokt. How are the Arcadians flying over Yokt? How do they even know we're here? Not going to be so simple. Big revelations and a time jump ahead in the next part with Act 2.